Okay, the next word I'd like to talk about is tranny. I hear this word a lot in people who don't really have much experience with the transgender community. And tranny started out as a word used mainly to describe transsexual women, especially in a sexual way. I find in my everyday life that the word tranny is kind of used in the same way as words like fag or dyke are. Meaning that sometimes within the community they will be used in a reclaimed kind of way. Like, for example, I've said to friends of mine, like, oh, I'm such a tranny. Like, things like that. And you'll hear those words used in between members of the transgender community. However, you get into really risky territory if you are outside of the trans community using the word tranny. People generally take it as offensive, and it communicates a kind of sexualized, dehumanized view of transgender people. And so, if you have any doubts about whether it's appropriate for you to use the word tranny, err on the side of safety and respect and don't use it. Alright, now, FTM and MTF. MTF, it's an abbreviation for a male to female transsexual. This person most likely prefers feminine pronouns. FTM. An abbreviation for a female to male transsexual. This person most likely prefers masculine pronouns. Yeah, that's pretty simple. So, I, for example, have been lately identifying as an FTM, or female to male, so someone who was assigned female at birth and transitions to male or some sort of something in the male spectrum, in my case. And the same goes for an MTF, that's someone who's born assigned male at birth and who transitions to female. Yeah. Alright. Trans woman and trans man. Awesome. So I'll start with trans woman. Trans woman is a woman, someone who identifies as a woman who happens to be transgender. So that means the person was assigned male at birth and then transitions to female and now identifies as a woman. I hear a lot of people get this confused when I say trans woman or trans man because they're like, oh, does that mean that they're a guy or they were born a man? And they get very confused. Same goes for trans man. That's someone who identifies pretty much solely as male, who was assigned female at birth and who has transitioned. You will also hear things like trans girl, T-girl, or trans guy instead of man, things like that. Like, for example, I pretty much never ever use the term trans man. I pretty much always use trans guy because I think that man is very binary. I think that guy is just a little softer. It doesn't nail me down as much. Yeah, and so a helpful way to remember this, I think, is think in terms of the final goal. Don't think in terms of where you started. It doesn't matter what the person was assigned at birth. The word that is in their that title, be it trans woman, trans man, trans girl, trans guy, is what they identify as. So, I'm a trans guy, I identify as a guy. Someone else, be a trans woman, they identify as a woman. So, it doesn't matter what their assigned sex at birth was. Alright, intersex, and specifically intersex versus hermaphrodite. Intersex. Term used for a variety of medical conditions in which a person is born with chromosomes, genitalia, and/or secondary sexual characteristics that are inconsistent with the typical definition of a male or female body. A person who is intersex was born with parts or chromosomes or androgens or something that did not line up with the traditional, what is accepted as a male body or female body. And that can make it really difficult for a doctor to assign them a gender. Historically, and this is proved problematic in a number of cases, but historically, if a child is born intersex, the doctor will discern the status of their genitalia and then proceed to surgically reconstruct their genitalia in the way that is most simple given the tissue that is there. But the problem comes when, what if there's a baby who, and and it's easy to give that baby female genitalia, but they grow up identifying as male. And people are treating him as a female, but he identifies as male. So yeah, that's a problem. And so there's been a lot of attempts, especially by like the Intersex Society of America, to reshape the standards of care for intersex people, and especially to keep doctors from doing genital surgery on infants, before they can decide what is best for them. And people a lot of times will say the word hermaphrodite when referring to an intersex person, which is incorrect. In biology, a hermaphrodite, actually, I can read this from Wikipedia. In biology, a hermaphrodite is an organism that has reproductive organs normally associated with both female and male sexes. So, yeah, a hermaphrodite, which is a biological term to describe animals, and insects and things like that, has genitalia and or reproductive capabilities of both male and female sexes, which is not accurate to describe intersex people. Most people would think of a hermaphrodite person as having a penis and a vagina, which is pretty much impossible. They may have parts of one or the other. They may have reproductive organs, partially of one or the other, but it's pretty much impossible for someone. Well, it is impossible as far as I'm aware, for a person to have a fully functioning penis and vagina simultaneously. Yeah, so hermaphrodite is incorrect, and don't say hermaphrodite because it's really disrespectful and shows that you're ignorant. To pass. To take on the representation of oneself as a member of a social group other than one's own. For example, a lesbian woman who passes for straight, or a biological man who is perceived to be a woman. Yeah. Basically, I've always heard the term passing used in the transgender community to discuss the ability to be seen as their target gender in society, in public. For example, I don't pass worth shit. Even when I'm trying to pass, I get ma'amed and missed and stuff all the time. So I don't pass as male. Yeah, it's funny. I seem to pass more as male when I'm not trying to pass. It's really funny. Before I was really out to people, I was passing as male sometimes, and it was kind of hilarious. And then stealth is my next term. Stealth generally refers to a person, usually someone who identifies as transsexual. It refers to a trans person living solely as their target gender and not telling people about their transsexual status. They don't want people to see them as trans. They want people to see them as a woman or a man, depending on how they identify. And so usually they won't tell new people that they meet that they're trans. So yeah, their goal is basically to make their transness kind of disappear. They want to fully be thought of as a woman, not a trans woman, or a man, not a trans man. So, yeah. And then the last one I have, to conclude this frickin' 26-minute long video that I will edit, is transphobia. Transphobia, defined here as the fear of, hatred of, or discomfort with people who are transgender. So that's pretty self-explanatory. I would also add that it is the blatant ignorance of people who are transgender when you claim not to be ignorant of them. People like Katy Perry and Kesha, cough, cough. I think of them as transphobic. But yeah, just because it has the word phobia on the end of it doesn't mean that it just means fear of. Some people seem to think that. But it can be the fear of, the hatred of, the aversion toward, the willful ignorance of transgender people. So, yeah. Alright, that's about it. I hope that this video helped some people out, and I will see you guys later. Bye. Hey, sorry, this is a little PS to my video. I don't know why I forgot this term, but I did. Yeah. And that term is cisgender. Maybe I forgot it because it doesn't apply to me. An individual who identifies with the gender that correlates with his or her assigned sex. So, yeah. Basically, cisgender is the opposite of transgender. So, yeah, anyone who is not transgender is cisgender. Most of the world is cisgender. This video is intended for a primarily cisgendered audience. And I'm sorry if this is a little lackluster. And I just got into a discussion with my friend and I'm not feeling so hot right now. Yeah. Commence feeling like a freak. Awesome. And also, I'd really like to apologize for the boobs in my video. Since I'm not out at home, I'm too lazy to wrestle myself into my binder just to make a video, and so like I'll make videos but try to hide my boobies, and it didn't work so well in this last one. I feel really bad about it, but I didn't want to take down the whole video or anything. So yeah. Anyway, yeah, I hope you guys are feeling better than I am. Yeah, comments and stuff are great, and I will see you guys later.